It was a really hard time. It was like 3 months where I wasn't eating. Like, I didn't realize how bad the business had gotten. But in that moment, I remember turning to my husband and we said to each other, like, if we're going to try again, we have to go all in or nothing. E-commerce is fun. I think people are forgetting that. Like, why not try something new?
Give us kind of the founding journey of Hero Packaging.
I had a business and I was constantly sending out like 60, 80 packages a day, and it was always wrapped in plastic. And I was like, surely 100% I can find a solution to that.
What are the 1 or 2 or 3 things we're just different at?
100%. Like, what is the distinctive nature of your business?
What do you think drove you? Was it the keeping the lights on at home? Or was it didn't want to be seen as a failure?
I've never been asked that question. I just believe if you get assets that drive revenue, you will always make more money. Brands, like especially e-com brands, they should stop focusing on being better. Like, better is such a weird word and it's so relative. Everyone needs to focus on being different.
Thanks for coming on the podcast. Very excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here. I actually can't believe that you asked me to be here. I'm like stoked to be here.
And excited to cover the story of Hero Packaging. I think it's obviously we've been working together for a little bit now, but you're I think that your brand and you are on so many stages and inspire so many founders.
Thank you.
Particularly here in Australia. And I'm excited to cover that story today. But maybe to kick off, to set some context, give us kind of the founding journey of Hero Packaging and what sparked the initial idea.
I think I had a business, right, which was like personalizing leather goods. And I was constantly sending out like 60, 80 packages a day. And it was always wrapped in plastic, like the Australia Post, you know, the e-parcel packages. Right. And so like I would constantly just be sending that out. And I remember thinking like over time, like this looks really terrible. Like I was like, there were packages, like piles and piles of them, and it was all plastic. And then there was this like school holiday period where my 2 girls were sitting there and they were also just playing with all the plastic stuff. All the like, and like, this is so fun. I was like, that looks horrible. Like that looks like it's so much waste. And I would take all of the plastic scraps as well and then just pop it into the bin. And then I knew that all of those packages would be going to customers' doorsteps and they would just pop them into the bin. And I was like,
just this ripple effect.
Yeah. And I was like, that's just me, one business day, one business owner. And I'm a small business owner as well. And like, that's just going into the bin. And I was like, surely like for my business, 100% I can find a solution to that. Like I will just use something else that's not plastic. So like I went home and I Googled it and I just found just 2 options. It was like boxes and then there was like paper packaging, which was so shit at the time, right? And so I couldn't do boxes because it's like 3 times for shipping. Like I couldn't pay it. It was eating into my margins. So basically what happened was I go, well, I'll do it myself. Like, you know how like as business owners, we're like, we'll just figure out a solution. But it wasn't that easy. I couldn't figure out anything and I was like stuck and I just kept on sending out these plastic packages and I was mortified with myself. Anyway, went to Woolies one day and I saw that in the fruit and vegetable section, they had this like roll of compostable fruit and vegetable bags. Right. And I was like, that's me. That's what I need to do. And I was like, if I made them a bit thicker, I could use them as postage bags. So I thought it was going to be easy, but it wasn't.
Well, manufacturing is hard,
Manufacturing is, especially when they're not yet manufacturing that product. Because right now you can go to Alibaba and basically if you like a glass bottle or something, you can find it.
Sure.
But if it's never been made before, that part of manufacturing is so hard. So then ultimately what I needed to do was over the period of 9 months, it took me so bloody long, is to go to like get compostable resin and then go to a plastic bag manufacturer and send the resin to that manufacturer and see if they could do it and then test it and then find out how to compost at home. And I was like, it was a nightmare. And then finally I got this one parcel and I tested it in the compost bin and it worked and it looked like plastic, but it was like breaking down as well. And
so you tested it all at home?
Yeah. And I'd never composted in my life. Like we're Indian, right? We're like, we don't do that. Sustainability is like a privilege, you know, we would just like survive. And so we tested it at home. I learned how to do composting and then it worked. And I was like, this is fucking amazing. But the problem was I needed an MOQ of 10,000, right? Sure. And so I just asked all my business friends, I was like, if I do it, do you guys want some? Because I can use it in my business. Do you want it in yours? They were like, hell yeah. So then they ended up using it and I called my husband. I was like, this is a business idea. I reckon this is another business idea. And hats off to him. He was like, Okay, cool. Like if you think it's good and you can get us like our first, 1,000 or 700 or 500 or 100 customers, like I'm all in on this business. And so then I was like, I'm going to do it. And that's kind of like where it started. It was kind of just like fixing a problem in my own business. And then all of a sudden it was like, other people want it and then I need to sell it. And so that was it.
And before Hero Packaging, what were you doing?
So I was selling these, monogrammed bags. Like you would put like gold foil on handbags and wallets and stuff like that. And so there was a big business. It was like a $30 million business doing it. And I was in a 9-to-5 job and I hated my life so much. And so I looked at that big business and I thought, well, if I could undercut them on price, this is so bad as a business policy. But I was like, what if I started a small business? I copied them, I undercut them on price, and maybe I could have a business. So I started on Etsy, on eBay, and my own website. And then it just started growing. And I was like, I'm never going to work a day in my life for someone else. So I quit my job and then I started that.
And going back to manufacturing in Australia, I mean, it's incredibly hard. And I think for almost so many businesses unheard of.
Yeah.
It's something that really kind of stands out for your brand today and something that I think you talk about a lot, right?
Yeah, I do. So we started manufacturing in China because that's the only place that was making plastic bags and I could send them compostable resin. So we started there. And
which made sense from a cost perspective,
100%.
Speed.
Not only that, but you have to think about the facilities. They don't have them here.
Right.
They have them there. And so we went there and we actually found out how to do it. And so we manufactured there. But, you fast forward a few years, right? And we'll come to that later. But we fast forwarded a few years and we realized that there are so many competitors of what we're doing. What is going to make us stand out? And it was the standout thing was to manufacture in Australia in our own warehouse. And so that's why we've kind of moved into that
What scale
direction.
did you get to before you figured that out?
Well, actually, it was the downfall of Hero Packaging that made me realize we needed to change.
Right.
So we were scaling up real fast. Like it was growing, like it was doubling every single year. And the revenue was so high until these two guys came into the business at the end of 2022 and said, you've got a lot of sales, you have no money, and you have run out of cash, you've got no profit, you're making a significant loss, you need to close the business.
Right.
And
that was the wake-up call?
We had no idea. That's how bad of a CEO I was. I had no idea it was that bad. And it was a really hard time. It was like 3 months where I wasn't eating. Like I didn't realize how bad the business had gotten. But in that moment, I remember turning to my husband and I just asked him like one question. And I said, do you think this business is worth carrying on or not? And he said, yes, I really believe in it. And I said, I believe in it too. So we actually had to pull out of our personal mortgage and put money back into the business to get us to ground zero again. And then we decided we're going to go all in on manufacturing here because that can be our point of difference and we can own that. And it's really hard to do. So that's when we started to manufacture here.
If you talk to so many founders, the ones that are truly succeeding today are the ones that have been through these periods of just significant shit.
Yeah.
Every day fighting shit. I think so many people talk about burnout in a way that it's, based on hours worked or how hectic your schedule is. I think you get burnt out when everything's going wrong.
Yeah.
But fighting through that is the difference between like these overly successful businesses or basically staying a market stall forever.
100%.
And almost every founder you talk to, whether it's at that event that we were at the other day in Tassie or, you speak to any e-commerce founder, they've been through these periods of, tariffs more recently, but then stock challenges, a co-founder leaving, not making any profit, running out of money.
Even the state of the economy as well. Like, things are going up and down.
Yeah. How did you get through the burnout period where, so many founders just never make it through that?
We said to each other, like, if we're going to try again, we have to go all in or nothing. So we are going all in. This is it was our entire livelihood. Like me and my husband are both in this. We feed our kids from this business. Like everything was based on this business. And I could not believe that it had failed. Like I could not believe I had brought it to that level.
What do you think drove you? Was it the keeping the lights on at home? Was it the ego? Was it you didn't want to be seen as a failure?
I've never been asked that question. And I think that is such a good question. If I'm honest with you, it was a mixture of everything because it's like I don't want to tell the world that I failed is number one. The second thing is that this is a good business. We are having such a big impact on e-commerce in Australia. How can we allow this to go down? Let's give it a good shot. I think all of that combined was like, we need to go again. And what does that take? It actually is just all about money. And it's like how we're in all of this debt. We're in all of these losses. How can we get back to ground zero and so that we can go forward again? And if we're going to go forward, how are we going to be better than we were before? And that was my mindset from the beginning of that moment. I was like, when we made that switch in our minds, there was like nothing else to it. It was like, we're all in on that.
I think it's pretty amazing that I just look back on so many, like even Instant or what you're describing now, and you can just paint the story. Everything turns out to be a story at the end of the day. It's like, wow, we needed that to succeed today.
Yeah.
How did you get things back on track?
So we pulled money from our mortgage, okay,
Right.
and we paid off some debts. And then we also
Did you ever take any investors?
Yeah, we
Yep.
actually in June of 2022,
Yep.
we raised 1.5 at a valuation of 15 mil. And we, at the end of 2022, was when they told us we needed to close the business. And I'll tell you something, I think this is really important for everyone who's listening as well, especially small businesses. If you take money from anyone, it cannot be to pay off debts. It cannot be to pay off old stuff. It is for the growth of the business only. And I think our mistake was we took on money and we took on equity because we were already in the shit. And then we were like, if we can just pay that off and then we'll just try again. And we put money everywhere and we're like, now we've got $1.5 million to play with. Yay.
Yeah.
Like, let's put this into collaborations, marketing. And you forget the fundamentals. You get overexcited. You should only take on money for the absolute growth. And usually
If you got the
that's
money there,
inventory.
you just spend it. You find a way to spend it.
You're right. You're like,
Yeah.
wow, I've got so much. Like, oh, what's $10,000 here? What's $10,000? Just spend. That is the worst thing that you can do.
And while you were in such significant debt, it sounds like that was also the period that you moved manufacturing from China to Australia, which would obviously be a pretty expensive exercise, right?
Yes. We had to invest in a machine. And that machine that's $250,000 when you have no money. And
it's crazy though, because thinking back, that was the thing that probably it put you more into the shit.
Yeah.
But it was the thing that also got you out of it and set you apart.
Like you know what it was? The moment we decided that, we actually, and I don't know how this happened, but the moment we decided to get that machine and we were going to do anything we could to get that machine, we got emails from some of the biggest companies in Australia to say, we need boxes from you. Do you do boxes? And we were like, yep. We do. We didn't even have the machine yet, but I was like, yep, just give me 3 months and I'll make your boxes for you. Had no staff for the machines, no machine, no like raw materials, nothing. And we just had to make it work. But I was like, there is demand. If we can do this, we will get more. Like, I just believe if you get assets that drive revenue, you will always make more money. So
100%.
Like,
And so you got the machines in Australia.
Yeah.
You'd raised the capital. You'd kind of gone into this mindset of, all right, are we going all in or are we all out? And you decided to go all in.
Yeah.
What's kind of the next phase? So you started to get growth now, right?
Yeah. So you
needed to, otherwise you were dead.
The whole point was we need to make profit.
Right.
Every month. So now the 4th to the 5th of the following month, I am like looking at my Xero account, right? Like we are
and not just looking at the revenue numbers anymore, looking at profit.
Yeah, no. We're like looking at the tiniest things, like how much of like the snacks did we buy for everyone in the warehouse? Like I am looking at every single number and it sounds so dumb, but we are profitable every single month. I don't think people realize how incredible it is to go from a loss of, 2 million or whatever to then have like a 10 to 15% net margin. That is really, really hard to do. And we're really proud of ourselves for that. So the next steps after that, we're basically going, okay, we've done that. How do we make sure every single person or every single brand in Australia knows about what we're doing? And so we did full email campaigns. We ran massive ads. We started TikTok ads. And I decided to use my personal brand to tell everyone about how we manufacture in Australia. So people know that we manufacture in Australia because of my personal brand and not because of Hero Packaging content.
Yeah.
So I've had to leverage both platforms to tell everyone.
I feel like you did that before it even became a thing. Today you see so many brands or it's the common advice to, all right, the
Founder-led.
founder brand,
Yeah,
founder-led brand.
Yeah.
But you were doing that for years now.
Because what I had to do was I wrote an e-commerce book and I had to sell that book. And so the only way I knew how to do that was to create TikTok content.
Right.
And so I built up a personal brand, and lucky I did, because I was able to leverage that to make Hero do well.
But I think something else that really, even what other brands say to me is that they see you as an ally. They see you as someone on their team because you're not just another SaaS provider or another B2B business that's just trying to rip off your products and sell it. You actually understand their business, you've gone through what they've gone through, and it's so mission-driven behind what they're all thinking as well. How would you say you balance the sustainability side of things with growth? Because that would be hard, right?
Really, really hard, especially because I didn't grow up with sustainability at the top of mind. I think that people confuse or think that sustainability and growth are opposites.
Right.
They're not though, right? Because the more I grow, the more impact I'm having on the world, and the more impact I'm having on the people that I hire as well. And so I just think that, I think the misconception is if you grow and grow and grow, how can you be a sustainable business? You're just making a lot of money and it's not good for the planet. Actually, what people don't realize is that consumers are not picking between packaging and no packaging. They're picking between my company and another company. And so if I have a better sustainability practice, then by choosing us and us growing is actually better for the planet and the people. And so I think about it in that way. It's the more I grow, the more impact I have. And I just want to keep reiterating that to myself as well.
While we're on the topic of growth, what does that kind of look like today? Founder brand or founder-led kind of brand is a big part of your business today.
It is.
I always find it hard how do you map out the content, figure out what you're going to do? Does it come naturally? How do you think about it? Is it actually even part of the strategy of the business, or does it just come as you go on the fly?
Yeah, it's on the
fly.
fly.
How do you think about
it's absolutely ad hoc. There is no plan. I don't have a marketing team at all. I don't have anyone that works for me that's in marketing. I do all my emails, all the social content for both my personal brand and Hero Packaging. I do all the ads myself and all the the ad content.
Do you think that's important?
No, I think that anyone, look, people are stronger at certain things, and I just know that I love being able to control all of that sort of stuff. And I think over time I've done it enough that I feel like I'm okay at it.
Sure.
And I think other people need a team to do it, and that's good too. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer, but for me, I just think that you need to know how to do all of it. So for me, if you want to lead a founder-led brand, you got to be really good at content. You got to just know what you're doing. If you've got a team of people that are good and you're shit at it, there's a problem.
What do you think helps you stand out?
I don't sell anything on my personal brand. I'm not trying to sell you anything. If I say I don't like, for example, agencies, I will say it blatantly, I don't like them because of X, Y, Z. And I stand for something. I stand for something in e-commerce, and I rally people that way. And I'm not trying to play the nice person. If I really believe in something, or if I believe in a brand or a SaaS provider or something, I will tell people the truth.
But even if you don't believe in them, you also tell the truth, and that's why people trust you.
Yeah, and I have friends in all tech companies. I have friends in all other brands and service providers and stuff. But if I don't like something, I'll say it. And I'm trying to say it not for the detriment of that brand, but because it will help business owners, because business is fucking hard. And if you're making the wrong mistakes because other people are telling you or you're being convinced otherwise, I'm just here to say, here's my opinion and this is what I've tried, and I don't think you should do it, or I think you should.
Maybe let's look at growth another way then. Yeah, I feel there's so many things that make it work and it's constantly changing. What would you say over the past couple of years outside of not focusing on profit were kind of the biggest fuck-ups to not growing as fast as you maybe would have liked?
I think we didn't take shortcuts. So, it's really super easy as a sustainable brand to take shortcuts, right? Because what you want to do is you want to make more money, and you realize that brands, they want sustainability, but they also want the cheapest price. I think you would have realized this as well, right?
Sure.
Everyone will come to you and be like, I love what you're doing, but what's the price, and can I get it for cheaper? I'm pretty sure I've said that to you guys as well. I'm like, can I have it for cheaper? Everyone says it, right? So that's what happens with sustainable brands, right? They always want something for cheaper. Every single brand wants a cheaper price, and I think the easiest thing to do is take shortcuts, okay? So what happened was when all these competitors started coming up, they were doing compostables as well. We're selling compostables, they're doing compostables. And all of a sudden they realized, and we realized, that brands want cheap, stuff. They want cheap packaging, but they want it labeled as sustainable. So what our competitors started to do was go, we're going to bring in plastic and we're going to label it as sustainable. We're going to market it as sustainable because we can do it in a certain way. And they started to do that, and they started to take market share from us constantly. And I think that I wouldn't call this a fuck up. I would never, ever go down that path, but we stayed the same. We kind of went, this is what we want. We're not growing as fast as we could because we're not moving into that plastic category. But this is like, we're going to stay at this revenue if we have to because we're so stuck to our purpose. And I think for us, when we see our competitors rising by selling all this cheap stuff and taking shortcuts, I still look at that sometimes and I go to my husband, I say like, should we do that? And he's like, well, what's the point of our business then?
Yeah.
You know, so you've got to really like balance out what's the purpose compared to like how much growth you want to have. And I think we're always grappling with that.
On the point around competitors, I feel like it's so easy to consistently be kind of chasing their tail. You know, you're always the one that's chasing the competitor, following what they're doing.
Always, yeah.
And I feel like this happens a lot in SaaS businesses, but also in e-com.
Yeah.
You go to some of these events and all these people do is talk about what their competitor's doing
Yeah.
versus what they're doing better.
Yes.
How do you manage that?
Oh my God. Yes. Okay. So I think that brands, like especially e-com brands, they should stop focusing on being better. Like better is such a weird word and it's so relative. Everyone needs to focus on being different. Like you need to have a distinctive brand. There's not like being better. You'll always find someone who's even better than you. Like it's never going to work out, but can you be different? Like, can you be zigging when all the people are zagging? Like, is that a thing that you can do?
What are the 1 or 2 or 3 things we're just different at that set us apart? That's the biggest thing.
100%. Like, what is the distinctive nature of your business? Like, for you, for example, I know for a fact that in my mind and everyone that follows me, audiences, like instant audiences, is the thing that stood apart from everything else. Everyone's like, how do they target more IP addresses? That's amazing. Is it real? Like, I remember speaking to Brittany Saunders and I've got text messages from her being like, is this instant? This is like, must have been last year or something. She's like, is this real life or are they trolling me? And I was like, I think it's real. And she was like, how do they target more? I was like, I don't know, but they've got some technology or something. And like, I remember that conversation happening. I just think that is like the coolest thing.
So many people are trying to nip at each other's heels just to be like 1% better here or 1% better here. And most of the time it comes down to price. That's the only reason why they're better.
And you can't do
it never
that.
works.
No, because unless you're a monopoly or a duopoly, you cannot compete on price. What's the point?
Yeah.
Like, you need to be different. Like, I think Instant is now, I mean, you've done so much work with it, but now it's got like that differentiating distinctiveness of brand. I think Hero has done that as well, because the reason that people think about Hero packaging in their consideration set when they are thinking about packaging is because we have positioned ourselves to be the cool, fun brand for sustainable packaging, whereas everyone else focuses on product and it's so commoditized. We're like, this is Anaita, she's a bit of a weirdo. Like, here, like, you know, here's some bright colors for you and here's a community and like, we're never going to do plastic. And we're like giving people something to fight for, something people to like be excited about. And I think if you can be different in that way rather than thinking about being better, like you'll always succeed.
How do you kind of surround yourself with the right people? I feel like you are probably one of the only founders I know that knows almost everyone.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would have a positive impact on the business, right? Like you're able to learn new things, you're able to share your learnings. How do you surround yourself with these types of people?
I don't know, Liam. I actually don't know. I think about that a lot. Like I feel like I've got...
You're authentic, have nothing, you know, just kind of go with the flow.
I don't know. I think it's because when I create content, and then all of these business owners are listening, they realize that like there's truth in the content and I'm not like fluffing about. I think that's a really big part of having that connection, because the whole thing is like I'm an introvert. So even at like these big events, I will go and if I don't recognize anyone, I stand in the corner by myself.
I saw your Instagram about that, which I found was super interesting.
I do it all the time.
Right.
Like it's mortifying for me to walk into a room and feel like I don't know anybody.
Right.
And so I like wait for people that I know, you know, and then I can connect with them. But when I do connect with them, I have different cultural threads of connection. That's how I think about it and how I connect with people, right? Like I will connect with you because we're founders first and we're serial like founders. I think I can connect with people of like an ethnic background. I think about ways or like threads that I can pull on that connect with people. I guess that's basically it. But knowing everyone, that's just come over time, I think, and just like chatting to other founders.
Let's talk about kind of brand growth marketing, diving into your specialty and I think where you love to spend a lot of time. Founder-led brand today is obviously kind of a huge part, as we've spoken about. Yeah. But maybe on the hero packaging side of things, you run a lot of ads. Yeah. Talk to me kind of about how you just scale the business.
Scale the business through multiple normal avenues, which is your meta ads, and trying to get as many email subscribers and sending them emails. So that's basically like, the fundamentals.
Yep.
And then what I've done this year is tried different things. Like I've actually gone, okay, where are people having conversations about packaging? And that's like Reddit. So I've started to run Reddit ads. And then I've noticed that putting more spend on Reddit ads has actually led to more organic conversations on Reddit about packaging and hero packaging.
Okay.
It's so cool.
Reddit is very interesting. I feel like it's something that goes very unspoken about, but it's almost everyone goes there
because Google is prioritizing it in its search results.
Right.
And so why not just be part of that conversation anyway?
Yep.
Like people are talking about instant on Reddit. Like, are you part of that conversation? Like, are you getting in there? Is like someone like targeting those conversations? Are you running ads on? Like, it's so important, right?
You do a lot of case studies as well, I've been seeing, which are pretty unique. Like I saw the one with Uniqlo where you went into the store and like it just kind of, I feel like so many people talk about what they're doing or their product, but they never really show it. Yeah. They don't show what the customer thinks. They don't show what the, they don't show the
I think
product.
Also when they're like, this brand now uses my
it brings
product.
some validity to it.
Yeah, but then they just say it like that. It's almost like an influencer holding up like a skincare, like you must use it. Like no one cares.
Yeah.
And so I was like, how can we make this super interesting? So we had like Disney bought from us. And so we like turned ourselves into like Disney princesses and like we're working at the warehouse. It's so ridiculous, but it's a really good way to showcase that brand gives me some kind of authority in the space that brand has chosen hero packaging. Similar with Uniqlo, we like went into the store and we just did like a full like runway without their permission. And that was like just showing people that yes, we're fun, but also we got Uniqlo as a brand. So, you know, like we just got to show it in a really cool way.
Have you had to stand up some type of sales function to close these brands, or they just land on the website self-serve?
We have a head of partnerships and she's there if like there are big brands who come and she like gives them a call straight away and she's like having a chat with them. She's amazing. We've never done that up until a year ago. So they've always just come to us and we've won a lot of them and we've lost a lot of them simply because we didn't have a human being just going like, hey, what do you need? Like, I'm here for you. And so I didn't realize the power of that because I kept on thinking of hero packaging as a B2C business.
Right.
But we are essentially a B2B business. You need humans.
Yeah.
People want a phone call. And so we've got that now. But these brands come to us simply because we're running ads and LinkedIn ads, Facebook ads. They see us everywhere.
Why do you think they come to you versus other companies today?
I think they go to everyone.
Right.
I think they're getting quotes from everyone. But then what ends up happening is they come to us because we have a great account management system and we have, like we say to them, we'll create content for you as well. So like if you choose hero packaging and you get boxes from us, we'll make content for you. And we'll give you like content for your ads too. And so they love that.
I think there's so much to learn from things like mistakes. You catch up with and at so many events. I mean, I imagine you consume so much content. What do you think the biggest mistakes are that other founders just consistently make when they're getting off the ground that you see?
I think there's too much chatter with social media on like what to do, like following trends and doing what your competitors are doing and like having a look around and comparing yourself. I actually think that the biggest thing that you can do is like fundamentals of business, like going back to the grassroots level of, and this is going to sound so basic, but real like website content, your SEO, are your ads in place? Like, are you doing everything properly? Have you looked at how much you pay staff compared to the revenue? Like, what's revenue per head? Are you like looking at the really nitty gritty numbers? Are you focusing too much of your time on things that don't matter? And I think we all do that. Like yesterday I did a video on social content. I just don't think is as important as people think it is. Like brand and founders are just going, I'm going to spend 2 hours making this viral video or like a video for my, TikTok account. That's not going to get you shit. What is going to get you shit is changing your collections page, like having links in there. And then writing a blog post that sounds like a human being so that it gets picked up by AI. And then when you type into AI, something along the lines of what's the best fashion company in Australia, your brand comes up first. That is important. Like the fundamentals are so important.
Well, how do you prioritize your week to actually execute on these things?
On Sunday night, it's like a to-do list, a full a full to-do list, not in any order. And then it goes, okay, after that is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I like look
Are you
at my
order by
calendar.
day?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah. Because like every day there's something on. Like there's like a podcast, or I'm speaking somewhere, or like I've got an event to go to or something. So what I need to do is say, okay, I've got 4 hours on this day. So what am I going to do? And I check myself sometimes. I'm like, oh, I've said I've got to do 2 hours of content. For what purpose?
Right.
Like that's not going to get me anything. Like, with my personal brand or Hero Packaging, what can I do that's going to move the needle? I would get stuck in the ways of like, I can meet with my team, but if I don't meet with them, what can I do that's going to move the needle? And it's usually things like, just like, it's going to sound so basic, but like, optimizing my ads, fixing my flows, like, like just the basic stuff. I know that brings in money.
Yeah.
That's important to me.
Like even email, I mean, so
Yeah.
many brands, it's like in Black Friday, it's generally worth about 30 to 40% of their revenue.
Exactly.
And they never even bother to update it.
That's actually quite funny though, isn't it? Like it's like that's the one thing that's making you so much money, and it's like the standard email.
It's crazy. I would say most brands forget about the basics.
Yeah.
They forget to update their meta. They forget to update their emails.
Yeah. It's
they
almost
don't-
too hard as well.
Well, it's just like this cognitive overload. And that's why they fail. It's because they're too busy worrying about office politics for larger companies.
Yeah.
Too busy worrying about like the next big thing, or negotiating on, saving $100 a month here
Yes.
versus just making more revenue, bringing more customers to the site.
with the current resources you have.
Yeah.
Like you're not adding any more expenses.
Everything just turns into like a silver bullet. We need to hire this person before we can go to the next phase.
Yes, agreed.
It's like all this silver bullet thinking, and they just never pull off any of it.
Exactly. I know. I completely agree with you. I remember listening to you at the retreat, and it was so funny that you mentioned that, because the reason, and this is going to sound like an instant sales pitch, the reason that we have moved over is that then I don't have to think about it, because like I said, I don't have a marketing team, and so if it's just me and I have to be in control of changing the flows based on the stuff that's going on on my site, if I have to do that, I'll never do it.
Right.
And so now I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
That to me is like, I don't know what big businesses are like, but for me, like small to medium-sized businesses, it's like a game changer.
Well, we're even talking to, I said this at the retreat as well, like we were talking to Pepper Mayo the other day. They're a huge customer of Instant. And like at sometimes they've got, so many different regions around the world. They've got like 10 to 12 different offers going on around the world at any one time.
Yeah,
some items have free shipping, some have coupon codes, different collections. Like it's so complex that because it's so complex, they've just never put coupon codes or offers in any of their emails. And they're basically, that's their whole brand is
coupon codes.
Coupon codes and, making the basket larger to get free shipping. And so many brands work like that. And if you look at their attention marketing, they've got nothing in there because it's just too complicated. Which kind of puts me, the other thing I mentioned at the event that it got a few laughs was I feel like so many people, particularly founders of these e-com brands, buy things or products because they like the person selling it. They like the founder selling it, or they like the salesperson, and then it ends up just being a shit show in the end because they haven't done their research properly. It's not actually a good product, and they just like the person selling them. Yeah. And at the end of the day, most salespeople, they should be likable, right? I mean, that's their whole job is being liked.
Exactly.
But how do you kind of manage experimentation? I think that when I look at US brands, I spent so much time over in the US, they are just so obsessed with experimentation.
You mean in terms of product?
Well, product, but also like the tools they're using on their website as well. Like they're always trying new tools. They want to be the first. They want to be the first to try a new tool. Yeah. Whereas here in Australia, sometimes I feel like the constant question is, what other brands are using it?
Yes. I agree with that.
We don't want to be the first. Come back to us in a year. Whereas I feel like you've kind of been a bit of a trailblazer in trying new tech. Sometimes it goes your way, other times it doesn't, and that's fine. Yeah. But you have this like obsession with experimentation that I feel like gets you some of these shortcuts along the way.
Yeah, but it's so fun. Like e-commerce is fun. I think people are forgetting that. Like, why not try something new? We're all entrepreneurs, or like we're all business owners. We're all so in love with taking risk, or I think we are. Like, why not try something new? Because you just never know. I think the US market is totally different though. Like, I follow the guys at Obvi. Do you know Obvi?
Yeah.
And so
I was on their podcast just last week.
Of course you were. Well, I love them because every time I see a LinkedIn post, they've tried something new. And I'm like, why can't I?
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is...
And look at their brand.
Look at it.
Look how fast.
Yeah. And there's only 6 of them or something.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's like over 100 mil or something now. But, I love that. I love that they try something new and I read about it and I will go, I think we need to implement it. I have a list in Slack that I've sent to my husband. It must be like 200 things long. It's like I'm working through them because I want to try every single thing. And if you try as many things as possible, then you can figure out what's really shit and what's really good. And then I can tell everyone about it. So why not? But people, I don't think all they want is like that almost safe factor.
Yeah.
If it's working and it's not broken, we'll just stick with it. Like, I don't even know if I can mention your competitors, but like, one email platform, people are like, but it works. So why would I change?
Right.
You're like, well,
it hasn't actually increased or improved in 10 years since you started the business.
Yes, and they're so complacent.
Yeah.
And it really annoyed me as well. And so like
I look at Nick Sharma's brands, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, just talking about the US again,
Yeah.
we're obviously both huge fans of Nick Sharma.
Huge.
Like, look at the brands he works with, constantly experimenting, constantly trying new things. But they're also just as quick to get rid of the tool if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that just means that they're just always on.
But you're always doing the best thing. Yeah, exactly. Because you can quickly find out what's not working and like piss that off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to come back to you've mentioned kind of your husband a lot, and working very closely alongside each other.
Yeah.
Through the tough times as a business.
Yeah.
Now somewhat, the fast-growing company that you are today,
Mm-hmm.
all the way through to the ideas, and I imagine kind of just every day in the business.
Yeah.
What's that kind of dynamic like? I feel like so many people in our world, the girlfriend starts the business and they bring in the boyfriend, or a lot of the time it's the wife that starts the business and in comes the husband.
Yeah.
So many occasions.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. But how do you make it work well?
Because it's either going to work well or it's not. Like
Right.
if you've got 2 people, like I don't know what it's like with you and your girlfriend, but like you just know whether you can work together or you can't.
Yeah.
It's not like you can work through things. You either know or you don't. And the reason we knew it was going to work is because our personalities are very different. I'm very much like I can probably see very, very far ahead and I'll go, we got to get there. And he's like the engine that keeps on going.
Right.
You know what I mean? He'll make it happen. He's good at managing people. He's good at the logistics and the operations.
Right.
And all of that stuff I'm still learning. I'm not very good at it.
Do you bring work home or do you try and...
We bring work home every day. Every day.
But it works fine.
It works fine. We've learned to transition from being like, partners in the morning and then parents and then business owners and then parents and then like a couple at night. So we've done that for years and years and years. So we've kind of made it work. There are some times though when we're on holidays and I'll have to be like, we need to stop talking about AOV.
Yeah, you'll just sit
today.
there on the sunbeds near the pool.
I think it's time to stop. Let's enjoy. But we
kind
love
of fun
it though.
though. Yeah.
I love it. And it makes you feel inspired and like someone to share it with.
Yeah, you've always got someone you can trust that is on your team to just bounce around thoughts.
You're on the same page.
Yeah,
you know?
You're constantly on the same team.
And that's the best part of it. Like I think having a business partner, whoever it is, you just same like you're on the same page, but you might be completely different, but you just work so well and you don't step on each other's toes. That's my advice.
What's your thoughts on agency versus doing it yourself? I feel like this is a big debate more recently. Mm-hmm. I think that there are a lot of really awesome communities of e-commerce founders, particularly here in Australia. And they kind of rely on these communities to, I guess, motivate them, or it's like they're paying for some type of motivation. And then the other big thing that's a huge debate more recently is kind of the agency versus in-house. I feel like most brands have a balance of doing both, but there's definitely been a pull towards doing it yourself more recently.
Yeah.
And I'm not a founder of an e-com brand, so I really just don't have an opinion on it. But I feel like so many founders are mentioning it to me all the time.
Yeah.
How do you manage that? What's your thoughts?
I think that you need to know everything about your business, right? So like if you are running your own ads, then you know everything from like, okay, why are the clicks so high and then why are the conversions so high? You kind of like... You look at it every day and you think, oh my God, I completely understand it. I know what creatives are working. I know that, you know, all of that. And it's so nitty gritty and you're like into it. Okay. So you understand it. And then you want to pass it over because you've got no time and you want to pass it over to an agency. But at that point, that's okay because you understand every single bit of it. And then when the agency talks to you and they're like, results are amazing, you can say, well, actually, they're not because I can see here that it's not amazing. That to me is okay.
Sure.
What I don't like is when brands go, it's too hard. I'm going to pass it to an agency because we need to make money and I know ads work. So the agency will do it. We'll pay them $2,000 to $5,000 a month when they can't afford it. I'm sorry,
They're never the most important client. They're always forgotten about. They get one call a week.
Because they get sold to by the head,
Yeah.
right? And then it's
sales guy.
a junior account manager who doesn't give a shit about the business, who's managing 20 accounts and is like, oh, we'll rotate that ad creative today. That's their entire job. And you're paying them up to $5,000 a month for that. And then they report really great results and you realize it's actually not and you're losing a lot of money. You can't get out of the contract.
A lot of these founders just use it as they're just complacent. They don't actually understand it. So it's just, rather than learn, let's just give it to an agency.
I think founders are doing so much and it's really hard. It's really, really hard to do everything. And so you're trying to look for these little shortcuts. And I just am saying that like doing your own ads, figuring out your emails, figuring out whatever it is, like doing it yourself. If you can spend an hour on ads a day or half an hour on ads a day, you can absolutely change the way that your business runs. You don't need an agency and you can put that money back into your bottom line or you can put it back into ads. So I think that if you want to have an agency because you don't have any time and you know all about it, that's absolutely okay. But if you are just passing on your work to others because too hard basket, it's the wrong thing to do.
If you look back today then, what do you think are the 2 or 3 things that have really going through again that phase of uncertainty, then through to scale? What are the 2 or 3 things that really stand out looking, a couple of years back that has really enabled you to grow at the pace you are today?
I think it's product innovation, and I think that brands aren't innovating enough. They're not being distinctive enough. Like newness is what sells, and I think having like new.
Are you always onto the next product, trying to find the next product?
But I'm not spending more to get the new product. We've got machines that can do multiple products,
right?
So we're releasing them one at a time for newness purposes. If we release them all at once, then we wouldn't have anything to release later on. So we're doing it one at a time. I think that when consumers see newness, they get excited by it, right? A way to grow is to use the same resources and to get more. Another thing that we are doing, which I think is really important, on the same kind of level, is using our resources and turning our business into something else, which is a 3PL. So we have the ability to do that. So we've got the current staff, current warehouse, and we can now turn that into a 3PL as well. So I want to make more money with the same amount of stuff that we have. I think that's
if you look
really
at the business
important.
today, what are you failing at that you would like to, if you look a year or two forward, that you would have liked to have achieved?
Failing at not being able to do everything I want to do. Like I want to release all these products. I want to be able to buy more machines. I want to do all of that sort of stuff. And we had a conversation this morning. So got a text from my husband saying, I think we do need the new machine. And I've been fighting it because it's really expensive. And he's like, I think we need it. It's going to generate more revenue. And I've been saying, I don't think we should. It's like so much money. It's so much money.
Right.
And so I think that in a year from now, I'll be like, you should have just gotten it. Like you know it's going to make you money. You should have just gotten it, and you know it's the right path. So I think just like you're always grappling between like it's going to bring growth, but you've got to outlay the expense now. That's I think the biggest thing.
Love it. Well, thanks for joining me on the podcast.
Thank you.
Good to chat. That was a very quick hour.
Yeah.
And see you around at the next Tasmania event.
Yeah, see you soon.